Now, if you love optimal work daily, a great podcast to pair it with is the Hustle Daily Show, part of the HubSpot podcast network and the audio destination for business builders. The Hustle Daily Show provides your daily dose of business, tech, news, and original stories to keep you in the loop on what's trending in business so you can use this information to help your own company succeed. The Hustle Daily Show's team of writers break down the biggest business headlines in 10 minutes or less, just like we do here, and explain why you should care about them. They'll also do deep dives on topics like a man who won the lottery 14 times and why it's nearly impossible to buy an original Bob Ross painting. I checked out a few episodes of the Hustle Daily Show, and to me, it felt like one of the most fun and streamlined ways possible to get the information you need to stay up to date on current business trends. So be sure to search for the Hustle Daily Show wherever you get your podcasts.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
oh no!
Replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
This is Optimal Work Daily, episode 1153, Why Leaders Need to Be Great Storytellers, by Christine Comaford of SmartTribesInstitute.com. And I'm Dan, I am your host, and I'm with you every single day reading to you to help you optimize all aspects of your work. And we're going to get right to it now as we hear from Christine and optimize your life. Why Leaders Need to Be Great Storytellers, by Christine Comaford of SmartTribesInstitute.com. We've all seen them. Emotionally flat presentations, emotionally devoid corporate mission, vision, and value statements that are simply wall art. They're not memorable. And even if the team has been asked to memorize them, even recite them, if you ask what they mean, you'll get blank stares. Why? There's no emotion. There's no story. What's your favorite movie? I'll bet you can enthusiastically tell me all about it, even if you haven't seen it in years. Stories are like nutrition for our souls. We remember them and love them. They have deeper meaning for us. On YouTube, there's a wonderful video clip of a group of Marines belting out the lyrics to the theme song from Disney's Frozen. Who would have thought combat soldiers could relate to a Disney princess? And then there are company stories. Many of us have heard the story about a Nordstrom's customer returning a snow tire and the customer service rep handling that request happily, even though Nordstrom doesn't sell snow tires. We hear the story, and we don't need to be told that Nordstrom's values customer service. We know already. We have the story. What do you love in a story? Notice what makes stories memorable for you. For most people, the stories we remember have some sort of emotional impact on us. They have this impact because we can relate to the hero and the storyline in some way. The stories you tell about your organization need to be positively impactful too. Neural coupling enables us to connect the story and personalize it. We connect to the storyteller via mirror neurons. We get deeply engaged and feel, hear, see, and even smell or taste what's happening in the story too. And dopamine, a feel-good neurotransmitter, gets released when a story is emotionally engaging. And that's just a start. Here's the storytelling recipe my clients love when they are crafting company stories. Step 1. Focus on your story customer and their context. Who is the story for? Customers? Team members? Take a moment and think about the recipient of the story. What is their context? Notice the situations they are in and make sure they can relate to your stories. Tell stories where they can see themselves as the hero or heroine of the piece. When you tell your story, choose the communication vehicle that fits their context. For example, one client's target customer is parents of small children, and they told their stories via mommy blogs. Telling the same story on LinkedIn would probably have not been nearly as effective. Step 2. Make it authentic. Fabricated stories don't usually have the same emotional impact as the real ones. You just can't make some of those quirky details up. As Mark Twain said, truth is stranger than fiction. People like stories that have enough specific details to create a picture in their mind. Have a contest and ask your team to submit the stories of times when your organization's values were demonstrated. Develop the stories that have the most emotional impact. Remember the brain and emotional engagement. To make it really memorable, it also helps if the story is told by a trusted member of the community. For example, stories told by customers about their own experience are going to feel more genuine and impactful than ones that you publish yourself. Step 3. Give the story movement. Start your story with a problem or situation and then tell how that problem is resolved. Make sure the story goes from a problem, or less than fully desirable situation, to a more desirable outcome. The more challenge in the story, the more interesting. The more distance between the starting point and the ending point, the more dramatic and compelling. Step 4. Make it value-oriented. What value, insight, or service resolve the problem? For marketing stories, they might be about how your product or service helped in a unique or challenging situation. Ask yourself, what desirable outcome happened for the protagonist? Make sure your story demonstrates your values. Other stories might be more funny, but you want to promote the ones that demonstrate your values, who you are, and how you'll show up for others. And step 5. Test the efficacy. Try it out. Does the story communicate positively? Specifically test your story on a representative group of recipients to make sure it has the intended meaning and impact. The internet makes this pretty easy to do, but make sure you have tried out your story in a non-recordable way before you, quote-unquote, go big. The net equals curve, C-U-R-V-E. Not every story will meet all of the following criteria, but I like to check my clients' stories against the curve model to make sure they are creating a positive experience. C for curiosity. Does the recipient want to know what happened? U for urgency. Does the story create a sense of must get this done now? R for relevance. Is the story relevant to the recipient's situation or context? V for value. Does the story reflect my values? Is the story valuable to the recipient? And E for emotion. Does the story have an emotional impact? Is it funny, scary, surprising? Your turn. People love to tell stories. They are potent engagement and teaching tools. Follow this guide and make sure the stories being told about you and your organization are sending the right message. You just listened to the post titled Why Leaders Need to Be Great Storytellers by Christine Comaford of SmartTribesInstitute.com. Your business is buried in manual work, taking forever to close the books. If this is you, consider 3 numbers: 37,000, 25, 1. 37,000. That's the number of businesses which have upgraded to NetSuite by Oracle. 25. NetSuite turns 25 this year. That's 25 years of helping businesses do more with less, close their books in days, not weeks, and drive down costs. 1, because your business is one of a kind, so you get a customized solution for all of your KPIs in one efficient system with one source of truth. Manage risk, get reliable forecasts, and improve margins. NetSuite is giving you the power of having all your information in one place, helping you to make better, more driven decisions as a business owner. Everything you need to grow, all in one place. And you really can't put a price on the power and efficiency that comes with having all of your processes streamlined like this. This is truly an unprecedented offer. Right now, download NetSuite's popular KPI checklist, designed to give you consistently excellent performance, absolutely free at netsuite.com/startup. That's netsuite.com/startup to get your own KPI checklist. netsuite.com/startup. Labor strikes, climate change, your beat-up office printer. What do they all have in common? Come on, it's all about the money. Economics is everywhere and everything, fueling our lives even where we least expect it. If you're a fan of Optimal Work Daily and are curious to learn something new and exciting about economics every week, I recommend you listen to the Planet Money podcast from NPR. Planet Money is a different kind of world where the complex economy actually makes sense. Listeners can learn, laugh, and be entertained. And I find it to be really educational too. Money can be confusing, and Planet Money is great at providing straightforward explanations for how money is really moving in ways we're usually kept in the dark about. The Planet Money team lives to tell a good story in around 30 minutes. It's econ for the rest of us. So tune into Planet Money every week for entertaining stories and insights about how money shapes our world. stories that can't be found anywhere else. Listen now to Planet Money from NPR, wherever you get your podcasts. A big thank you to Christine, who is a leadership and culture coach, serial entrepreneur, and New York Times bestselling author of 3 books, Power Your Tribe, SmartTribes, and Rules for Renegades. For over 30 years now, she's helped leaders navigate growth and change by specializing in applied neuroscience, which helps her clients achieve tremendous results in record time. As an entrepreneur, Christine built and sold 5 companies with an average ROI of 700%, and she was also a software engineer back in the early days of Microsoft and Apple. So come by SmartTribesInstitute.com to learn much more about Christine and to check out all the resources there at the site. And I do have that linked in this episode's description, as well as at oldpodcast.com. But that is it for another edition of Optimal Work Daily. I really hope you enjoyed the post today and that you'll be back with me tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.